Move on to our next story. The Toronto Star is reporting that police are now using AI to investigate the unsolved murders of billionaires Barry and Honey Sherman. It's the first time the technology has been applied to this case, but journalists argue the investigation should be classified as a cold case so they can access sealed documents. Some people like that. Okay, so the big question is, should this be made a cold case?
Ooh, interesting.
Everybody in the audience.
You know, I get why people, because we're just frustrated. It's been 8 years since these murders. And so I actually have the opposite reaction, which is, what do you have to lose? Unleash the AI on this case. You have a murderer. There's a murderer running around somewhere that has not been brought to account for the murders of 2 innocent people. What do you have to lose? You know, this case, it's 8 years old. As far as we can tell, there's only one police investigator who is left on the case who works on it part-time.
Can you believe that?
So I just think if there are tips coming in, if there's anything new to be looked at, this ain't the way that it's gonna get solved. And AI, the way that it's already being deployed by pretty much most police departments around the world, it's not supposed to replace the human, it's supposed to do the work of many people faster. So if you take a look at anything from analyzing all the phones, the texts, the emails, scanning license plates, taking a look at DNA databases around the world, there's so many ways that with one button, you could do the work of what it would take hundreds of investigators, thousands of hours to do. Why not?
Yeah, not to mention that the system is broken, both here in the United States and Canada. And do you guys know about the Innocence Project? This is a project in the United States that has exonerated, I think, 252 people and 203 DNA-based exonerations. And they have highlighted through their work all of the mistakes that happen in the system that has people wrongfully accused, and some people going to the chair, and people doing, you know, life sentences for crimes that they did not commit. And they bring up stuff like eyewitness misidentification, misapplied forensic science, false confessions, police and prosecutorial misconduct. So if AI can help fix those issues, I am here for it. But I also want to say to the family, I'm just curious, because I think sometimes we forget, we're talking about this like it's a story, but they have a family. And I know that they live in Canada, and I want to just say to them, we are thinking about you, and I'm sure this is a very tough situation to have your parents die, and for years and years to go by and nothing's being done. So my thoughts and prayers are with them and how they're dealing with this whole situation. It's gotta be a tough one.
To be clear, like, it's like, this is considered still an active case, even though there's only one investigator on it now part-time. And in the fact that it is now considered still an ongoing case, that's the reason why the courts can sort of redact or hold back certain information. I think that there's only about half of the 4,000 warrant pages have been unsealed to the public, but half are still sealed, so we don't know anything about that. And here's the thing, if it becomes a cold case, all of those files get released to the public. And I say, I agree, I think that should happen. We should name this a cold case. And why? Because we've seen what's happened. First of all, with this case specifically, we know that there was a lot of errors that the Toronto Star brought to light. There were massive police errors at the beginning. They didn't obtain security footage right away. They didn't properly canvass the area right away. They didn't get alibis from key individuals. They went in under the assumption that Barry killed his wife. And since then, it's been proven, pretty much without a doubt, that they were both murdered. So there were all kinds of mistakes made at the beginning. So we need those released, because what I've seen, the only one positive of our current obsession in the world of like true crime is that get the people involved who are like love this stuff and get them to sort it out. Go to humans before AI. All the time.
I don't know.
I hear what you're saying,
that
but
can be a little problematic, though, no?
Like, certainly there have been cases, and we've seen them, and Lord knows streaming services love to create content out of this. And we've seen where Redditors and such have helped. But we've also seen that humans are fallible, too, right? Like, do you guys remember the Boston bombing when that happened? Redditors misidentified Sunil Tripathi as the bomber, when in fact he was not. And people went looking for him, and that did not end well. So I think humans are fallible.
But so is AI.
Of course AI is fallible as well, but humans have taken the lead on this case so far. I think, to Mel's point, let's give AI a chance. And I say that for the same reason Mel did, in terms of computers' ability to process information so much faster than a human being working part-time can. So, like, listen to this. In the UK, one police department used this to review evidentiary material in 27 cases in 30 hours. AI was able to go through 27 cases.
but
but listen, I know speed isn't
you're
everything.
suspicious,
But
though.
there's checks.
So
But
suspicious.
listen, there's checks and balances. Guys, we all use AI every day. We just, for some reason, when you apply the letters AI to it, we freak out.
Okay, but
if you use any sort of smart appliances at home, if you use Uber, if you use...
You and Cynthia and I are like...
you use this already. It's 2025. Let's let technology help us.
I'm not applaud that.
Wait,
Guys,
why?
we have been on the show.
But why? Okay, well, here's the deal. I just gave you some stats as to how humans get it wrong.
Yes.
So why don't you trust AI?
Because the data, the people who input into AI are humans. So the data that's going in there is only as good as the humans. So I can see a world where, in this particular case, fine, use a bit of AI, and I'm sure it's going to happen. But fast forward 10 years down the road, when there are people in charge of putting in data that maybe can skew information in the exact same fallible ways that you're talking about in the police world, human world, I feel like AI, and then suddenly you're like, somebody's accused wrongly, but it's like, look, the AI has the proof.
And then
But
now
I
are we
said
gonna
it's
believe AI
going to be
over the
humans
computer?
wrong.
But there's checks and balances that are human on the back end. We're still going to have a trial, right?
I
So,
just feel
I
like
think
we
here's
don't
the
want to
thing, when you-
offload
It's a slippery
this stuff.
slope.
It's
a
not about
slippery slope.
offloading. I think we forget, like, AI so far is still within our control. I think some people might actually argue against that. Nobody is sitting there and inputting information. AI is taking information that already exists and interpreting it.
It doesn't
so
come
if
in
you
there
take a look,
magically.
it's not that it's not magical. So it garners, the way that AI works is anything that's available already online, which some of it is good information, some of it's bad information, but it's out there. What it's able to do is take so much information and distill it in the blink of an eye. They say that the newest ChatGPT is 10,000 times more smarter than Einstein. So if you take a look at the information and the speed, it can recognize patterns where we humans cannot recognize patterns.
I know, but one of
and
the
it could
big
do
things-
it in 30 seconds.
One of the big things that everybody who's in AI is talking about is that there's regulation that needs to go along with this technology, and I think that's what you're talking about. We need to not just lean on this because it sounds really great and it's going to help and it'll be much faster, but we still have to be very mindful that we can still get it wrong with the AI,
get it
and people might
wrong.
trust the AI more than they trust humans.
But
and
it's not only that,
is
this
also
has to go to
problematic.
court. So if all of a sudden AI brings you all this evidence, let's say you let AI go on the Sherman case, and they come up with a couple of names or a name, that has to go to trial. No one's going to
But are
all of a
people
sudden
going to believe the
convict
AI
somebody.
over people?
But humans get it wrong and AI gets it wrong. There's no
Everybody gets
perfect
it wrong.
answer.
So anyway, we could talk about this for hours. This is a good topic. Let's
Yeah.
see what happens. Toronto police probably watching. So let's see what happens next.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.